the way that I like to look at fear, especially coming from a background where I have been very highly anxious to the point where I was like in sheer panic attacks almost every day for probably 4 months. It was the worst time in my life. I can't even tell you. Hello, loyal followers. It's Christopher Lawrence with ChangeMyLifeCoaching.ca, life and career coach. Followers, I've probably got one, and it's my mom, and I'm grateful to have her, and I will do these videos just for her if that's what it takes. What are we talking about today? I want to talk about what happens when you have fear around making a career change. What can you do when you have fear around making a career change? Because it does happen, doesn't it? We do get that fear of like, am I making the right choice? Maybe things aren't so bad where I am. But then in your heart of hearts, it's time for change. And so what do you do with that? Well, the way that I like to look at fear, especially coming from a background where I have been very highly anxious to the point where I was like in sheer panic attacks almost every day for probably 4 months. It was the worst time in my life. I can't even tell you. It was worse than being a drug addict. It was worse than going through bankruptcy. Imagine waking up every single day feeling like someone was sitting on your chest and you were in so much pain, physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, and oh God, thinking about it makes my heart beat faster. It's a terrible feeling. And I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemies because it is awful. It is the worst thing on earth to be in that kind of place almost 24/7. So my approach to fear, and hopefully you aren't in as much fear as that over something like a career change, but some of you might be, is I actually learned to treat fear as the enemy. Okay, so this is interesting. That's not surprising. But there's this old adage, and this took me a bit to figure out, and I needed lots of help from folks along the journey, but what does it mean if fear is the enemy? If fear is your enemy and you're about to go to war with fear, what does it mean? Well, actually, there's this old phrase that says, make your friends close, but make your enemies what? Did you get it? Closer! Yeah, so we want to bring our enemies close. Why? Because if our enemies are close, then we know when to strike. We can manipulate them. We can even have empathy for them in some cases. And by having them close and getting to know them, we know how to work with them. So actually, instead of pushing fear away, which is what most of us do, when you're thinking about a career change, you might think about what it means to bring fear closer to you. And that's what I did when I had to make a career change. I got to know my fear like my best friend. Instead of pushing fear away and saying, fear is over there and that's really scary, I put fear right here. And I said, this is fear. And I'm going to make it my friend. And I'm going to learn about it and get to know it and know everything I can possibly do. Not just academically, what is fear, but my fear, my specific fear. What is it that makes me afraid? What is it that I believe to be true about the circumstance that is causing me fear? Because most of our fear is perceived fear. Some of our fear is real fear. And it can be a really tough thing to distinguish when you're in a moment that seems extremely scary. So I encourage you to bring your fear close, get to know it like your best friend so that you can twist it and manipulate it and empathize with it and become its friend even, and give it a voice, give it time and space in your body instead of pushing it away from you. When I'm afraid now, I give it time and space. I say it's okay to be afraid, but I'm not going to let fear take over. I just need to understand it. So ask your fear some questions. Christopher Lawrence, ChangeMyLifeCoaching.ca, life and career coach. Tell me about some of the fears that you have, career or life related, that you have overcome, that you've worked on. We can talk about the stuff that we haven't done too, but if you're going to do that, tell me what steps you're taking to work on it down below, because I would really like to give people hope. When you're in a place of fear, it can feel hopeless. and very out of control. So let's even if you're going to talk about something you haven't resolved, let's talk about your plan for fear. I've got a big one I'm working on this year, so thanks, team. We'll see you later.